Pivot! 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 Hello, everybody. Hello. How is everybody doing? 1-0. This is a WREXtra Time phone in on the local pundit. I am Paddy Power as usual, and today I want everybody on board because we have lots and lots to talk about. So who is with us today? Today we have Glenda first. Woohoo! Mary second. Michael Hillier is here. Bernie G. Chicky Brewer, Sarah Pritchard, lots of people today. Chris, Hip Karma, Steve Barton's here, Wayne Evans, lots and lots of people waiting. Anyone else I've missed? Josh is here in the back. Mary, Mertland, John Merrill's here. John, are you coming in today? And Tess is here as well. So I put the link out there. So if anybody wants to jump in. I'll see you in the background and I will bring you in as soon as I can. So just testing, guys. Can everybody hear me? Throw it in the chat just so I can do a quick check. I have a new microphone. Let me know how the sound is. I have heard it's working well, but just double check on this one. So before we start today, Josh has asked me to bring up the after match with Parky. So let's start with that one before we get into the comments. And before, I also want to bring up our league table and have a quick talk about that as well. So get your comments in now. If you have questions that you want covered, throw them in and we will try and get to them. And if you want to come in today, especially if you have not been on with us before, do jump in and we'll try and get some new faces as well and some old faces. We like all the faces here. So let's add to the stage and let's press play and see if everything is working.
Phil, congratulations. It had to be, didn't it, on your 1,000th managerial day, and Steve Fletcher does it again for you.
I mean, listen, it's a great cross from Ollie. Don't think we should underestimate the quality of that. And, you know, Ollie's played every minute practically of these games over Christmas, and to produce that quality right at the death, and it's a brilliant header. It's an absolutely brilliant header from Fletch, and yeah, he just gives us that real top end quality when he comes on. He's done it again.
You look tired out.
Listen, you've got to give that so much credit, honestly, because the 4 games we've had, 26th, 29th, 1st today, that's a tough schedule. I tend in the interviews not to make too big a thing of it because you don't want to put it into the minds of people, the lads. But the way that the team has driven on, you know, when you look at it, probably one of the best we played was Barnsley in the second half. And to get nothing from that game was a real blow. But you know, just set the lads in there that we trained yesterday, and I said to Steve, I said, there's a real focus about the group in training yesterday, which is hard because there's another team shape meeting, there's another meeting about the opposition, so coming so quick. But the focus in the group was incredible yesterday, and the game was always going to be a little bit flatter because of the energy levels of both teams. But we restricted a very talented team to practically nothing, and you hope the moment would come. We made the subs, and in the end, the crack appeared, and we got the winner.
As a manager, I'm sure you look at impact subs. I'm sure throughout your 1,000 games, there have been other players at previous clubs who've done it for you off the bench. But to have a player like this who's now come on 4 games now that he's come on and either got the winner or an equaliser, he's proving an incredible weapon for you, Stephen Fletcher.
Oh, it's just an incredible player.
Fletcher's been amazing.
You know, if he was 10 years younger, he'd be a £50 million player at least, because he's such a talent. But he's a great lad as well. You know, he's about the team. You know, always about the team. You know, he's always there to advise the younger players, and you know, he's a terrific fellow. He really is. The lads absolutely love him, and you know, I'm pleased for him to have special moments. You know, I don't know whether his family were here today, but I know they were over the Christmas games, and it's great for a player, you know, when obviously you are coming towards the latter stages of your career, to get special moments like today. He's just got to stop tiring himself out with the celebrations, though, because he did it the other day. He ran at the halfway line. It took him a while to recover, but listen, the adrenaline going through your body when you get a goal like that must be immense.
You made 4 changes today, as we discussed with you before the game, Phil. What were your reflections on the players who came in?
I thought Jacob did really well, stuck to his job. He hasn't played a lot of football this season, but one thing about Jacob, people can't get past him. He was solid, always kind of didn't want to stretch Jacob too far today. And I thought Seb got better as the game went on. He was up against probably their best player, and he restricted him to practically nothing. And as the game opened up a little bit, you saw little flashes of Seb cutting inside and his left foot. You know, he's got more to come in the attacking areas than he showed. But it's tough when you haven't played for a long time, and you get thrown in. And they're both great lads, and they'll get plenty of opportunities now at the end of the season. You know, like I said, Jimmy had been really ill over the last couple of days, and we hadn't seen him. But I thought Jimmy did well when he came on, and Mo as well, who'd also been ill. And that's what you need. You need the lads to almost get themselves off the sick bed over this Christmas period and say, come on, I'm available, because you need a strong bench in these games when they come so thick and fast.
Arthur wasn't heavily worked, Phil, but has he come through the 90 okay?
Yeah, Arthur's fine. I think it was a decision we only made today, really, because you know, obviously we've got a game Tuesday, and we could have saved Arthur for that game on Tuesday. But equally, you know, Mark's played a lot of football and struck a lot of balls over the last few weeks, and I just felt the time was right today for Arthur. But we have to give Mark a lot of credit as well, because he's been really good for us. You know, really solid in this last run of games, as of the other keepers who've stepped in, Callum and Brad in the cup competition. But Arthur obviously is a very, very good player. Was it too early for him today? Well, you know, sometimes you've got to take a little bit of a calculated gamble.
Virtue Trophy game, as you mentioned, Phil, on Tuesday, but I'm guessing many of the players that we've seen so much of over Christmas and New Year will get a bit of a breather for that one, and then that gives you that 12-day break until Shrewsbury from a league perspective.
Yeah, I think we've got to be fair now to the lads. You know, Matty James, Ollie Rathbone, those players and Maxi, who've gone every minute, and because that's a very, very tough schedule. And our options to change it round, with Brunty getting injured, Elliot Lee being out, Luke Bolton being out, Will Ball, you know, those players being unavailable have been a little bit more limited than I would have liked. So yeah, we've got to protect the players now. We've got to make sure that, of course, Tuesday we'll go into the game and like any game to try and win it, but I've got to make sure I protect the players. Those with niggles now need to be in the treatment room for a few days, and we need to get them right and ready for that the next league game.
And before we leave today, Phil, have you had the chance to bring some of your family today to celebrate with you your 1,000th game?
Yeah, it's great for me that my mum and dad and my auntie and uncle and my wife and all my 3 kids. Obviously, George works with us, but my other 2 kids, Abigail and Jack, are here. And that's very special because, like I said before the game, you know, management, you need a strong family, you need a very understanding wife, because, you know, she doesn't see a lot of me. She's probably happy with that, but does see a great deal of me. And when I'm there, you know, your mind's always on the team, etc. But yeah, you know, I remember my dad and my eldest son George and my wife were at my first ever game as a manager, Port Vale at home for Colchester many years ago. So it's great to be able to share this day with them, and I'm looking forward to having a nice relaxing drink tonight with them, and you know, talking over the good times we've had. And it just feels so much better that we've got the win today.
Well, Phil, we won't keep you any longer from going and celebrating with your family. Thanks so much for your time. Congrats on the win. Of course, congrats on the 1,000th game. And we'll see you again very soon.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson, of course, delighted that his 1,000th game in management resulted in a win for his Wrexham team. And we'll have a look now.
Okay, so interesting interview. You can absolutely tell, in my opinion, how relieved he is that they got that win. You take them however you can get them. We have often been about moments of madness and moments of execution by a single player. So nothing special there, but the header absolutely was special. He didn't look where he was aiming. He knew exactly where he was in the box. He got up, he put his head on it with the correct power, and just the experience got him there. I wish Palmer could maybe do that, just know where he is a little bit better, get a better header in, because he's had some opportunities, unfortunately, and he's not been converting them. And it has been up to Fletcher for the last couple of matches to save our ass, basically, which I think is fair to say. So while we wait for someone to come in the background, still nobody has joined us, guys, so jump on. We do need some guests if we're going to do a decent show today, but while we're waiting, I will actually pull up in the background our league table, and we can have a look at that for a few moments, if I can do it. Where are we? Sorry, guys, I didn't have this set up. 2 seconds. League One. There we go. Table. Now, you should be able to see it. Let's just check. Yes. Okay. So where are we in the table? Birmingham City is first. They have played 23 matches and they have achieved 53 points. Wycombe Wanderers had a draw today, so they have dropped 2 points, which is fantastic. They are on 24 matches played with 51 points. Now, we are on 51 points also with 1 extra game played. So Wycombe have 1 match in hand on us and Birmingham City have 2 on us. But maybe more importantly, just for the moment, Huddersfield Town behind us. We also need to pay attention to them. They dropped 2 points today as well. So they have 23 matches played, 2 games in hand on us, and 44 points. Let's just for the moment give them wins on those 2 matches, and that 6 points would put them on 50. Still behind us for the moment. And look, they may not win those matches, so that's good. But we do have to just keep an eye on those behind us. After that, then we have Barnsley, who are on the same games as us. They're on 42, so they're a little bit back. Reading on 24. Sorry, guys, about that background noise. Reading are on 24 matches, so they have 1 game in hand on us for 41 points. So they're a little bit back on us as well. So we're doing well. We look comfortable for the top 6 spots, which will get us into the playoff positions. And we want to chase down Wycombe Wanderers, especially, and stay ahead of Huddersfield. Now, leaving this aside for the moment, I'm not going to do the bottom of the table because that's not overly important. I did start a message in here that Wycombe have potentially had 4 players called back. Now, let's see who put that up there. Here, from Chris. Show this one. Chris says they have lost 4 players on recalls, apparently. They might be screwed. If anybody knows, can you put the names of the players in the chat? Because I have not heard of 4. I have heard of 2 of their players who have definitely been recalled. That's their 2 starting centre-backs, I believe, who are gone. They have a midfielder who has had an offer on him, and there is talk of their striker also getting offers coming in during the window. So whether they can keep those players or not, I don't know. Now, I have not heard of any other loans as of yet being recalled. So if that has come up and I missed it, try and throw that in the chat for us, please, guys. Okay, I do see Rousey in the back, and I just see a black screen. So are all the lights off, and do you want to keep your camera off, Rousey? Let's bring you in and check. You ready? 3, 2, 1. I'll give you a countdown this time. Hello, are you there?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, my man, how's things?
Yeah, I've got it black, so what I'm doing at the moment, you know.
That's fine. We can hear you loud and clear. So you're first up. So Josh wants to remind you that he has won, and he's correct, and you're wrong. But what do you want to talk about today?
I don't think I've ever been so depressed over a win.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I dipped and I came back up, so I'm in better form now. I was about to have a bit of a big rant, but I can hold it for the moment now that we've won. So maybe you can go for it if you want.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, I've been champion for Palmer and Mullen for quite some time, but neither of them put in a good performance today. And yeah, I don't know, man. We definitely need to sign a good striker, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was such a uninspired performance today.
That's probably a good word. Uninspired. Yeah. The performance in the last match against Barnsley, I felt was so much better and positive in the second half. First half was absolutely disastrous, but the way the team fought back, even though we didn't get the result and only got the one goal, that's the type of team I want to be seeing much more often. Because in fairness, there was nothing special about how the team performed today. It was a special goal by Fletcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I mean, I know we all bang on about Fletcher and his age and all that sort of stuff, but I mean, the dude's he's got that X factor and mate, I'm all for our Scottish Viking Jesus. I fucking love the bloke.
I love Fletcher too, and I will say I have criticised the fact that we kept him. Now, for me, if we had done it late in the window, and if we didn't get the right players and wanted to keep him as backup, that was my opinion on it, because I felt we did it way too early in the summer. But he has absolutely proved me wrong. I wasn't the only one who said he's not good enough for this league, but he has those moments and he has saved our ass in these matches. And just for this kind of month alone of his performances, it was worth keeping him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I mean, call a spade a spade. He's basically the only one scoring goals for us. The only one.
And Maxi.
Yeah, and Maxi, I guess. Yeah. But, I mean, he can get on the score sheet regularly, and if he can do that, why can't Mullen? Yeah. And why can't Palmer?
With Mullen, I wonder, is he trying to compensate for other players instead of staying in the correct positions and waiting for his opportunities a little bit?
I had a thought just before, actually, about Paul Mullen. And we're talking about getting another striker and stuff. I reckon Paul Mullen would be all right as an Elliot Lee backup.
Okay.
Yeah, think about it. He's he is pretty good on the ball. I'll give him that. He does create some opportunities, but I reckon you bring in a more experienced striker and put Mullen as a Elliot Lee backup. So we've got that there. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, I could see that. And if Mullen is next season, going to end up becoming more of a bench player, he could absolutely cover that role as well. And Parky loves people to cover multiple positions. Steve Barton, again, with the local pundit memberships, twice. So 5 + 5. So thank you again, Steve, for the 10 memberships there. And Cryptid Dino, welcome. And thank you very much for the membership. He's been a member for 2 months. Parkinson's 1000th game as well. That's fantastic as a record, to get that far. And a huge amount of them have been with us as well. So that's crazy.
I would like to know where he stands on the table of successful managers, because not many have been able to do what he's done over his career.
No, and if you compare him to the other, I have compared him to managers in our league, and I think he is first or second for average points per game. Now that's excluding a couple of managers who only have a few games. That joined new, but now we've 20 half a season. I haven't actually counted it lately, so he's definitely in like the top 2 for the league we're in at the moment. But I haven't compared to all the leagues over history. So he's right up there. He really is with us.
It would have to be. To be. It just boggles my mind that people still think he's a bad manager. What he's done is just incredible. I hope it continues, especially next year in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see any way that we go up and Parky decides to call it quits. Because I think maybe the one thing his career is missing is a very successful championship run. So that'll be interesting if he can do that with us. Historically, he maybe hasn't, but that the variation on teams and all of this comes into play there. So I'd like to see him try, and I certainly think he's going to get a solid bad season with us before it's even considered that he leaves on the Wrexham side. Is my opinion on it.
Well, I think so. I mean, I hope
he deserves it at this stage.
Yeah, I hope. I know probably a bit of a bad comparison this year, but what Coventry did with Marky Robbins, they stuck with him all the way through from League Two, bottom end of League Two, all the way to almost getting into the Premier League. So they stuck with him for quite some time, especially when they went into the Championship. So I hope we do the same.
Gave him every opportunity. Yeah.
Give him every opportunity to succeed. I reckon our owners are good people. I reckon they will. They'll stick with him.
Yeah, I reckon they will as well. The big thing for me is, can the style keep working in the Championship? In general, I would say yes. The problem is, I think we're starting to find that there is no one available who can fulfill that Parma role very easily because there's so few teams playing it. So maybe we need to find the right person, who has the high level to keep it going, because I personally think it can work in the Championship, at least for a couple of seasons to build us up the Championship.
We need to be so much sharper, though. I think.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Especially like with the Championship, probably one of the biggest differences is that if you make a mistake in the Championship, it's like you'll lose the ball and probably get scored against. You cannot make the same errors we're making in games and missing passes and all that sort of stuff. You got to be very decisive and clean to succeed in the Championship.
Well, coming up from League Two to League One, I was absolutely confident that the team we had before upgrading would have survived League One without getting relegated again. What do you think if we went up to Championship with the team as it is now? Do you think we could just survive being relegated? I'm starting to worry. Maybe not.
I would say, I mean, look, they surprised us all this year, haven't they?
Yeah.
There's no reason that they couldn't surprise us all again. I mean, they could even be, 10th to 12th in the Championship, I reckon. With the team
that we have right now.
Yeah, but if you get some good replacements in, a good striker and a good probably replacement for Palmer and someone more attack minded and clean. I reckon that we would do all right.
Yeah, I guess that's the point, because it's not a fair comparison to compare the team now to compare the team starting, because they had the January window last season. So they did upgrade the team during the year, and we're expecting to do the same again. So it's not really comparing apples to apples to try and compare a team halfway through the season before they do the January window. Because our team changed a lot between January and the end last season. Tess has a question here. Did you get to watch the interview with Parky that I played
on
the YouTube just after?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah. So the question here is, am I reading into this? It's like he's contrasting Fletcher and Palmer without directly talking about Palmer. Did you think that? The way he was highlighting Fletcher so much, do you think it was a little bit of, well, this is better than Palmer, or is that reading in too much?
Probably reading too far into it, to be fair, because Fletcher scored the winning goal, and he's come on.
He's bigging
the last
up the guy who did
3
well. Yeah.
games and scored the winning goal. So I just think he's definitely worth being in the conversation a bit more. I just wish that he could play a full, 60 minutes or 70 minutes or whatnot. Like that would be so good if you could play like that for the full time.
Yeah, so quite a few people have been saying, why not start Fletcher and see how far he can get before swapping him out then. Do you agree with that idea?
Haven't we already done that?
A few times, but mostly last year. He started one game this year.
He started a game last year and scored a hat trick, though. I guess I don't know.
That was Barrow. That's the one exception.
Yeah,
that was the 5-0 Barrow match. But any other time he started, it didn't go great. I still see Fletcher as a little bit slow. He gets in the right places. He can play with the ball. He can put the ball in the right places. But I worry that if you started him with everybody on fresh legs, I don't think it would work out as well.
Yeah, true.
But then you have to do the opposite, which is what we have been doing, is potentially ride it out for 60 minutes with a team that isn't gelling correctly at the moment. And then are we already down 2, or have we just survived? And are we then hoping for Fletcher to save us at the end? I don't know.
I'm interested to see what we do with Jack Marriott.
Yeah.
And whether he comes back on and is firing. Really, hopefully he is, but we definitely have missed him.
Yeah, I really worry for him for the end of the season, because unfortunately, if you're talking about business decisions and stuff here, he's the one whose contract is ending in the summer. He has no continuing contract at the moment. So he really needs to come back and start firing to maybe prove himself again. And we don't know what's going to happen with strikers in the season, kind of. So,
well, hopefully we get a decent set of strikers. But I don't know. Interesting game. I think we got the win, and there were some nice nut shots in the game.
Yes.
People getting healed in the nut. That was seeing it to Mullen, and then the Peterborough player. Can't remember his name, but oh man, I love me a good gem shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gives me plenty of content for my podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Try and get on the comments.
Hey, how cool was it when Fletcher ripped off his top?
Yeah, instant yellow card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there is some comments here I highlighted I haven't put up, which were about the card. So I'll just answer them. Will I Ambo put in, is it a yellow card for removing your jersey there? Yes, it is. Absolutely. It was done originally to stop slowing the game, because almost everybody was pulling their tops off. And there were numerous occasions where players were slow to put them back on. So they made it an instant yellow card at the time. So now it's kind of a seal of victory or something. When you scored a goal, you only take your shirt off on the really big ones, on the really important matches. So
hey, he can take his shirt off all the time. I'm perfectly fine with that.
What did you think of the tramp stamp?
Wasn't really.
It wasn't too bad.
I can't say I noticed it, but I'll have to go back and watch the replay of the goal and put it in slow motion and have a good look. Yeah. Dude's got loads of tats.
Yeah. And Steve again with another 5 local pundit memberships. If you got one, guys, definitely put out a comment there and a thank you for Steve. Steve is the man. He wants everybody to be a member of Local Pundit, apparently, because he gets everybody on board. So thank you once again, Steve. for that one. Sarah Pritchard, Josh reminded us yesterday of the knee injury for Fletcher. Yes, Fletcher is older and has a niggling knee issue. Too risky to play him for the start because you may ruin his knee. Okay, fair enough. Parky said Fletcher exhausted himself doing the goal celebrations. I missed that bit. So no, I don't think he can start.
Yeah.
And Steve agrees Fletcher's best went up against tired legs. Okay, JM's injury might help Wrexham get him back on a better deal. I don't know. I think it really comes down to whether they feel they need him or not because he's out of contract. Because I don't think you're really going to put someone on a worse deal too often, unless someone is getting really old and they're on a big deal. Now we have another person in here. Mary is coming in, so let's say hello to Mary. Oh, okay. It's telling me that your mic isn't connected. Is it just muted or is it not working at the moment? So it won't let me add you until that's sorted, Mary. But I'll bring you in shortly. Once that gets fixed. Okay. Kelly is responding to John. If Wrexham goes up, this won't be the team we play in the Championship. Absolutely, it never is. We definitely changed out our team towards the end of last season, but most of them stayed. And if we change out some,
who would you keep?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
To be honest, I think a lot of them we can keep, but they have to be secondary players. That's the thing. Like Mullen, obviously, you keep him, play him secondary. McLean, he's in contract. He can do a bit of a job, but if he becomes our 30-minute player, like he came on today, and could do a job. Mendy was playing today. Let's talk about him. Do you think Mendy's up for it? Hasn't been in the team much so far. Do you think he should be in the team for this season? Then we'll talk about next season.
I found it interesting that Mendy and Ford were both in the team today.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a chance for them to prove themselves. Maybe it was forced that was the team he had to go with because of all the sicknesses that have been running through. Bit hard to say, really, but I think that that was a chance for them to prove themselves, or maybe add some value to get the attention of other clubs. Because if we bring in people through this window, someone's got to go. So maybe that was their chance to market themselves.
Yeah, that's fair. Because the one thing I will say though is, at some point people will have to go, and we kind of have had that before. But one thing we will do that maybe other teams can't do is we will simply have people outside the 22 if we need to. If they won't go on loan, or if they haven't got a suitable loan, and if they're not useful, we will just pay them and let them sit. Let them be part of the backup squad. Sorry, hitting my microphone. So that's something we will do if need be.
Yeah, I could see that, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it was up to, I would keep Elliot Lee. I would keep James McLean.
Yeah.
Max Lewis.
Yeah. Barney.
Yeah, Barney. But yeah, Palmer Mullen. I know I championed Palmer the other week on my podcast because there were some stats and plays and things that he was always involved in, but these last two games, he's just been woeful. And Mullen too, at that fact. I mean, Mullen tries hard, you can see. But I don't know where the hell Palmer's been. He's just, yeah, he's proving me wrong right now, and I don't like it.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to go too hard on Palmer. I think we do it a lot, but I think it's just simply true. What can we do about it? He's a little slow, but the role itself is an integral part of how Parky wants us to play. Simple as that. And I don't think we have many people to replace Palmer. Like, no one is ready to take over that role and be much, much better. So I think we should be trying other strategies. But the issue is, which I think is very fair, is we're getting the points. We're managing. Even if we're making do, so be it. You swap things up, there's more risk of losing points than the benefit of gaining extra points more than we're getting at the moment. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I noticed with Ollie Palmer was that in our final third, he has a tendency to head it to empty spaces. It's like he's got no awareness of where the runs are going around him. The amount of times he's done that, and I think there was one in the other game too where he pulled back and looked like he was going to shoot, but then hesitated and decided to pass it off and completely ballsed up the pass. I think a conversation about Ollie Palmer would be very, very different if he actually was able to flick it onto some of those runs a bit better,
Yeah. And I mentioned recently as well, though, Palmer is at his ceiling. He's not going to get better than he is. He is what he is. And that's it. And he's only going to get potentially even a bit worse with the amount of minutes he's been asked to play. And actually, there's a comment here from John, which mentions ceilings. Some players just have their ceiling. Palmer strikes me as one of them, not his fault, and he shouldn't be battered for it. Do you know what? That is a very fair point. He shouldn't be battered for it. And maybe we're going a little hard on him, but we can't just ignore it. We can't just pretend it's not happening. But yes, maybe we need to give him a little bit of a break.
I don't know. We just need strikers firing. That's all we need. But I guess a win's a win. Good day. It's we're tied on points now with Wickham, aren't we?
Yes, we are, and Wickham have one game in hand.
So not quite if they draw or win that game, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, shit.
And Huddersfield are on our tails. It's just they have 2 games in hand. So it's looking like they're further back than maybe they will be, all depending on their results. If they get bad results, then they are far behind.
Are they 5? They're 5 behind us, eh?
They're 5 behind us with 2 in hand. Yeah. So they dropped 2 points away because they were drawing. It's basically a 4-horse race until somebody has any major blip. There's a couple of other teams that are within striking distance. If they hit form and get a string of wins, and if any of us, including Huddersfield and Wickham, go on a run of losses. I'm going to try and bring Mary back in. Let's see. You ready, Mary? Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, it's working.
Okay.
Welcome.
Finally.
Hello.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm going to start with the positives.
Yes, go for it.
We're top 3. We're sitting at 51 points. We're behind Wickham, and we're catching up with Birmingham. And I definitely still think that we can win the league, but that depends on how well we do in the January transfer window.
Yes.
And my third positive is Fletcher is like the best super sub that we could ask for.
Absolutely.
He's just the best player so far. And so I'm going to start with my negatives now. That was it. That was all my positives. Mullen and Palmer, they're just in a rut. I think we do need to get a striker in January. And I do think Parkey knows this. I think he's been planning this since Marriott's injury. I don't think that he believes in Palmer. I think he forced Mullen in to play too early from his surgery. And I know he knows that Mullen is struggling for form. And why do you think we have Fletcher on the bench almost every game since he's come back from his injury? And my second point is, if we don't have a striker, I don't think the way that we play in the first half, where we're not scoring first or we're not scoring a goal in the first half and we're trying to play catch up, I think that falls flat and the team just doesn't, I don't know, we're like not playing with hope. We're just grinding during these games. And I think people are fatigued. And like Max looks so fatigued. He doesn't look like, I don't know, maybe it's his injury. Maybe it's because he keeps playing with O'Connell and he hasn't had a game to rest. But yeah, those are my points. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with all that. Just before we start there, guys, Steve is in the background, so I'll bring Steve in. Rosie, do you mind heading off if you've had everything so far you want to say? Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I do mind. I'm going to hang around.
Okay.
No,
You can
kidding.
if
I'm
you really
kidding.
want.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Nah, I'm going to head off anyway and catch some sleep. So, but nah, hey, good win, and thank you guys for having me on.
Thanks, Rosie. Talk soon. Okay, Steve, are you there? Steve, can you hear me? No. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
There you go. Microphone's non-muted now.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. Morning.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Well, I totally agree with everything you just said.
Of course you did. Everybody agrees with me.
But I also want to highlight the fact I thought Andy Cannon played great today.
Okay, yeah.
I thought Matty James played really well in the middle.
Yeah.
Rathbone. I mean, there was a lot of really hard play going on. And while I agree, we need to figure out this whole striker thing, but our boys put up another clean sheet today. And that was important.
That's true.
Absolutely.
And it was so good to see Okonkwo back, right?
Yes.
Right.
Though haven't the nerves just kind of drifted off sometimes when they get in good position? You're kind of like, okay, this is a little dangerous, but Okonkwo's there.
And the other thing I liked was Okonkwo. Well, maybe not Okonkwo, but I'd like to see Mo Fowl with his socks up.
Yeah, put on your leg protection, shin guards.
But it's such a perception issue because when he has him low down, he looks like he's like loping. When he has him high up, he looks like he's running. It's weird. It's like an optical illusion or something. I don't understand it really, but it's pretty awesome. And obviously, I love to see Ravon today. He was Mindy. Both did great job. I mean, obviously Fletcher was man of the match, but we had some really good performances out there. I mean, those guys played hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, some news here. Wycombe have lost their defence. We mentioned this earlier. Mad Al says that they will slip now. We can't score, but we are defensively strong. So let's hope that Wycombe have some issues. But it is reported by John Merrill that Wycombe are trying to bring in a defender from Crystal Palace on loan. He is currently on loan somewhere in League Two. So, excuse me, same type of thing. Someone is on loan in League Two, doing well, and now they're going to be recalled potentially and given to Wickham in League One to see how well they can do. But it does look like Wickham are having some issues with their players. They're getting bids on some of their players as well. So can they keep them? Can they keep everybody happy if their players are getting big offers and want to go? So we'll have to see on that one. And hopefully they do lose a load of players and then have to go through a big window to maybe figure it out. And that might play to our advantage. And then we have to see what we're doing in our window. Can we sort our striker issue? And to be honest, I don't think we need a lot. But of course, we can upgrade wherever we can find value. So comfortable with our positions at the moment?
For now.
Well, until we see what happens, I guess. Yeah, for now.
For now. That was a really frustrating game. And I mean, we can't always rely on Fletcher and we can't always rely on these moments. Yeah, it's working for now, but I mean, how long can we sustain it? We have 9 home games left. And that freaks me out because our away performances are so poor.
Yeah. Our performance was poor today. There's a kind of a question here. Do we think we would have played much better if we had Barney? Did we severely miss Barney?
Mm-hmm.
And how did we like
Barney needs
Revan?
Rest.
I think Revan did okay.
Yeah.
But some plays were a little bit off, and he just hasn't played enough. Maybe that's a little bit of rust.
You got to be in the mix, man. You got to play ball.
I think the same can be said about Mendy too. I mean, he is good on the defense and he has pace. It's just I think when he's far wide on the wings, he doesn't do much, or he does too much and he doesn't get a cross in. And I think that's why Maka is starting on that side, because he knows how to drive the ball forward.
Yeah, I don't like this little kind of stopping movement he does. And just wait for the player and then left and right. Which way am I going? Right. Now, eventually he tends to beat the player, but by then all the defense is back and everybody's marked. And then he has to get the next ball in, and that's where I find it lacking. Because by that point, it's too late.
1 or 2 touches.
Yeah. Yes. He's got to go for it and decide what he's doing early, and he's got to get the work done early. I think he's too used to the League Two started. Well, he didn't play much in League Two either, but his injury. So he's too used to the lower levels where you can do that and then get an exact cross in or whatever. Defenses are generally too good here, and he's not used to this high level of play. He needs to move faster if he gets these opportunities.
Do you guys think that we were being patient in the final third? Like we were trying to play it into the net. How should I say this? Like there was no urgency with Palmer to head it into goal. So we were just trying to pass, and hopefully somebody is set up for the tee and to shoot.
Do you want to go for that, Steve, or do you have an opinion on that one, or do you want me to take it? Okay, so my opinion on that one is a bit of both. Yes, I can see a little bit of lack of oomph in the first opportunity, because that tends to be what we are. But I don't mind patience and passing around sometimes. And this has always been my issue, is break up the style of play that we're showing them. And I think the longer the season goes, the more comfortable we seem on the ball. Because we are passing it around and we are getting into okay positions. But the final pass, the final cross in for the header and stuff like that, we're missing. And unfortunately, I just think Palmer doesn't get up there enough with those sort of situations. He's in there, he's the big guy. We need to get the cross on his head, but his finishing of it is poor.
His first touch is poor.
His first touch is poor then as well. That's the other side. If he gets the ball in on the ground, he often then can't do anything with it. He can't move fast enough with a single touch to get a shot off. And sometimes when he gets in there before the defenders do, or before there's lots around him, he still doesn't seem to know in his head what he should do. You know, he's too slow with it. A defender gets a foot in front of him, and then he either misses the shot or it gets stolen or whatever. Steve, you back? You dropped out there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you're back. Cool. Okay. Woody Winson. We can't overtake Birmingham. We need 2 strikers, an attacking midfielder, and a Callum Burton level backup goalie. Yes, in theory. I do think saying we can overtake Birmingham is maybe a step too far. But Wickham, I think we can take Wickham down, especially if they don't do well in the January window. I think they'll slide with their results. And if we want to continue with the results we're having, I think we need to do a little bit of work in the January window, because I don't think we can keep this form with the way we're playing. We have lost some points that we didn't deserve to lose, and we have gained some points that we did deserve to win. So maybe if both of those looks just disappear, we'll get an average set of points that we need. But if we can improve our squad to actually get a couple of more goals, then I think we should be decent for second. That would be a good shout.
Can I put my hand up?
Go.
I remember when a certain James McLean said after we lost to Birmingham City 3-1, we owe them one and we'll see them in January.
Yeah. Obviously, it would be a massive statement to take that down. And interestingly, I will be less nervous about the idea that we can win that match than some of the away matches. And Mad Al has a comment there I just put up. We need to improve away for sure. Only 9 home games left this season. We are out of balance between our home and our away matches this season because of the way things have worked out. We have had matches cancelled that were our away matches, so we've done a lot of home matches. So that is something we need to consider. Is we need to improve that home form as well.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying when James McLean says we're gonna pay you back when you come in January, I believe him.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I think we will absolutely be up for that match. That will be a very interesting match. Sorry about all the noise in the background, guys. People are being noisy. League One defenders, from Paul Kelly here. League One defenders are bigger and stronger, and I believe Palmer and Mullen can't work past them as easily, outclassed in most cases. I think that's a fair comment, at least partially.
Hey, Patty.
Yeah.
What would you give Cleworth's performance today?
He nearly.
Steve.
Mary, do you have some comments first?
Yeah, I'm going to give
ahead.
him a 6 out of 10.
Why? What did you see in him, or what?
I think he just didn't make the smart decisions. Yeah, he always hoofs the ball. He's not comfortable with the ball at his feet, and he already has a connection with Barney. So I think he feels more comfortable with Barney. But other than that, I don't know. It's a 6 out of 10. But I also think that he's been overplayed. I think he does need a couple games to rest.
Yeah, Barney has left him open and vulnerable sometimes as well, because I think Barney's pushing a bit forward. But we saw the similar problem today, maybe. He is the least comfortable in the defense, holding the ball, playing the ball around. And if he's not that good at it, I don't mind him just getting rid. Because one thing I will say, we mentioned earlier in the season about all the teams making mistakes in the back, trying to play out and getting caught. We have not yet gotten caught, I think, getting the ball out. Now, we've been caught on the counter, but we haven't really been caught playing the ball out around from the back because we don't mess around with it. So I don't mind that too much. And he almost scored again today. But I agree with your points. Sometimes, yeah, he doesn't have an amazing game, but he works extremely hard and he does get back. That's the other thing. He does defend really heavily, which is his job, but he gets back from the front when he's attacking as well. So without his goals this season, we'd be in trouble.
He's got 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true.
So pros and cons, I guess, with him. He's still young. He can improve some of those areas, but absolutely, I wouldn't stop playing him. I don't think there's anyone better for his position at the moment.
I worry about upper leagues trying to poach him.
Yeah, maybe. It'll be interesting to see if any offers do come in. But he does have some weaknesses as well, like we said.
Same thing with Barney, though, right?
Well, Barney wasn't in the squad today. So already people are joking joking or not joking. They're putting rumors out there that an offer has come in for him, which is usually what happens is you fake an illness or an injury, take him out of the squad, deal with selling him on. So that is flying around X, but the person who did put it up said they were only joking, that they have no inside knowledge that it has happened. So
probably his agent.
Maybe his agent. Good call. What did we think of Rathbone today? Because he played really hard. He was everywhere. Some of his passes weren't great.
My opinion of Rathbone is he's the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just runs.
Yeah.
And
he breaks up plays.
Yeah, he breaks up plays, and I would say, I don't know the stats, but 70-80% of his passes are pretty on point, right? I mean,
yeah.
And he's pretty quick.
He is. Yeah, he is.
So he pushes down the side into to the belly, as I say, on the side. I'm from America, obviously, so I don't know all the stuff,
all the terms.
Yeah,
but he puts it down. Oh, the channel. That's the term.
On the channel, yeah.
And
he puts it in the channels.
Yeah, but he's not afraid to cut back inside.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be fair to him, when you're playing that sort of frantic, frenetic play, breaking up passes, chasing down everything, you're not always in a perfect position to give a perfectly weighted pass.
Yeah.
So sometimes you're off balance or whatever, because you don't have time on the ball and he's trying to make passes that would have been fantastic if they made it. They just got intercepted or whatever, but he's absolutely doing a great job. Interesting question here from Michael Hillier. Now, maybe a quick answer for you guys, but what do you think? How tight do you think it will go down? Will it go down to the last game, or could we say have 10 wins and that should get us over the line for second?
I don't like this question.
Okay, don't answer it. That's fine. I won't make it.
I'm not going to answer.
Yeah, I don't like this question either.
I think it's going to be pretty tight. I think I really want to see what Birmingham and Wickham do in the January window, and then we'll see. And I'm really worried about Huddersfield. Oh my God.
Yeah, this whole second half of the season is squeaky bum time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with a question like that, the one thing to remember is, you have to have a lot of points ahead of the teams around you in order to be confirmed. So it really comes down to the last 3 matches before you can usually make that decision, especially if it's like a second place, with third behind you. You need to have 9 points on the next team in order to confirm it that early. Then it's 6. That's still a decently big number. So it will get reasonably close to the end of the season. Unless we go on the massive run, get 10 matches in a row, make a bit of a difference between the teams behind us. And of course, it depends if they fall back, if they start getting average results, both teams, but then some other team might race up. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll run late.
Yeah, me too.
Transfer windows. Michael, please don't make us wait till the last day of transfer. I know it's out of our hands, but early business, please.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to do business early. I mean, like, the sooner we can get that striker in, oh my God, I would feel so much better.
Yeah. The problem is, for anyone who doesn't really understand it, is generally what happens is, even for your third striker or your backup striker, you often won't let them go until you replace them with somebody. Until you're waiting, like normally you're waiting on your new fancy striker to come in, and then you release the third or fourth striker. But until they are here, you don't release the other one. And then the next team has a similar situation, and the next team may have a similar situation. So it can roll a couple of positions, which often takes it down to the last few days, whether you want to or not. That can often be the problem, unless we're going for someone older. But again, it's going to be...
And that's a great segue, Patty.
Okay.
Because I keep throwing this conspiracy theory out there.
Go on.
$10 million equity in the club for Cristiano Ronaldo to come back and help us get into the championship.
So what, he got the part of the club, did he?
That's part of it. $10 million a year plus equity in the club. He comes back, helps us get to the championship.
I think he's worth $10 million a year at championship
Start that rumor,
level.
Steve. Start that rumor.
Oh, it's been out there. I've heard it.
Oh, I keep saying it. Yes, I am smoking something.
Yeah. How, like, the thing is that it has to be championship level. He's not going to be able to be a big part of the team forever either.
No. He's coming in for equity.
Oh, I know. Eventually it's equity, but like if he's playing, otherwise it's just money. and I don't know that anyone's going to get a chunk of the club just for the sake of it. But I guess having him as an owner.
Yeah. He has plenty of money and comes in, he plays, he scores, I don't know, 50 goals for us. Boom.
Does one season.
50 goals in one season.
No, but look, no matter what, even if he scores 10 goals and just plays one season and then becomes an owner of the club, the marketing of him would be massive.
Yeah.
And then if we eventually get to the Prem, yeah, look, that's why the rumor's out there.
Yeah. And I've been spreading it. I've been gossiping like a mofo. You know the whole adage where if you want something to happen, you need to make it happen.
Yeah. You need to manifest it.
Yeah, you manifest it. Keep talking about it.
That's right.
And then a rumor becomes reality.
That's right.
Michael here. Paddy, how many points do we need to aim for? He thought it was 84. Yeah, I think now, looking at currently the way people are playing, 90.
Yeah, 90.
Assuming it's second. You're looking at
90, 92.
90, yeah.
92. Yeah.
Yeah.
92.
Yeah. And it's something like 74, isn't it, for the top 6?
7, yeah.
I think that was it. So we're actually not ridiculously far away from the top 6, with obviously so much to play. I think that's reasonably clear. We should be top 6. Not guaranteed yet, but sorry, I was just reading a comment from John Merrill here. I'm going to put it up. We were talking about it earlier. He says he's sure Stansfield and co are very concerned about James McLean and what he said. That's about the Birmingham return match. Yeah, fair play, John. I would agree with that. But as I said, I'll be less nervous about trying to beat you guys at home than some of the teams we're going to play away in the near future. And Woody again, more away games in the second half. When do we play Reading? I don't know, but we did actually. Is it still start? We did just have a match postponed. Did I? Yes, here it is. Wrexham's game versus Reading has been postponed. The next game will be Shrewsbury. So okay, so the Reading match has already been postponed. That means that match will likely be played in late March into potentially very early April. It will likely be penciled into one of those Tuesdays, same as last season when matches needed to be cancelled for FA Cup matches and stuff like that. So that will likely be March into early April. So that I did not see in the news, but I saw it in the comments lately.
I have a question, Patty.
Yes.
Who do you guys think will play in the cup game?
At this stage, I think he's playing most of the standard team.
Mullen and Palmer?
Probably. Unless he wants to use it as minutes for the like of Fall. I think if he wants, like he played Fall a little bit earlier today, he put him up. He took Mullen off. So if maybe at this stage he thinks Fall is ready to try and work his way into the team, maybe he'll be getting the minutes in that match.
I really like Mo.
Yeah.
I think he has a first touch.
Can I raise my hand?
Go ahead.
I just want to remind everyone that there is a women's Wrexham team game tomorrow.
Okay.
At 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's an important game, and as many supporters as possible would be great.
Right on, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what they can do. Can they get up into that top 4?
We need them to get into top 4.
Yes.
Yep.
That's all. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Well, we are now at it for 1 hour and 10 minutes. So we're nearly done for the evening. So I'll pass it to you guys. Anything else in particular you think we missed that you'd like to mention before we head off?
Not really. I think we had a good bench. I'm glad we won the game. And then Tuesday, bring it on.
And for me, I'm very worried about Huddersfield.
In general, you mean, yeah?
Yeah, just like they're a good team.
They're a good team, yeah. They've been overlooked a bit because they've been sitting behind us with games in hand.
Yeah, it's that's if I had a little nervous worry, that's it, Huddersfield. Because I feel like Wickham's going to fall down because, they're calling back the striker, Barry.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they're going to be as prominent in the second half. And so Huddersfield is the one that bothers me right now. That's my little pick, if you want. But other than that, up to town. Let's go and support the women tomorrow. And yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope the ladies can do it. And Mary, any last words?
No, that was it. Thanks, Patty, for doing this. Steve, good to hear from you. Love the channel. Love it. Keep it going. And on that bombshell.
Wait a minute.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
Marie.
Oh, she's gone. She's probably still listening. She's gone, but probably listening.
All right. Well, we'll catch up with her later.
Okay.
And on that bombshell, I'm out.
Take care, Steve. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today. We have done an hour and 11 minutes. So I will say goodbye to everybody and catch you after the next match. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so, guys. Come on, come join us. And before I say on that bombshell, don't forget, pivot. Take care, everyone.